Well, after the abrogation of Article 370 and Article 35A, if there's one political development that took place in Jammu and Kashmir in the last few days, were 8 former ministers as well as legislators who met the Lieutenant Governor, among which was former Finance Minister Altaf Bukhari, who submitted a memorandum before Lieutenant Governor GC Murmu. Will go across to Altaf Bukhari in a short while from now. Remember, they've also met the 15 envoys who are on a 2-day visit to Jammu and Kashmir to get a first-hand information. He's joining us right now live. Altaf Bukhari, the former finance minister. Mr. Bukhari, thank you for speaking to Republic TV. Let me begin by asking you, the meeting that took place with the envoy, take us through. What have you been able to tell the envoy about the current situation in the valley?
We were invited to a luncheon meeting with the Envoys. They wanted to know about the situation pre-August 5 and post-August 5. We had a free and frank discussion. We told them how people in the valley felt about abrogation of Article 370 and 35A and what is the current situation. They had seen for themselves also. So it was a clear-cut discussion on what is happening, what are the difficulties being faced by people. We told them that there are difficulties faced by students, the businessmen, shopkeepers, hoteliers, and the tourism sector as a whole, the industry and the trade. So we did put across our point of view on different subjects. They had some questions regarding the statehood, our demand of statehood. What did it mean? What was the difference between a UT and the statehood? What was, why were we asking for domicile for the land? Why were we asking for domicile for the jobs? So we explained them that after the abrogation of 370, we have lost our statehood. First of all, we have lost our statehood. We were one of the oldest states in this country, and we would like the state to be back. They said, what is the difference?
But Mr. Bukhari,
I said, the difference is psychologically first.
Mr. Bukhari, I would like to ask you this question.
Yeah, tell me.
Mr. Bukhari, I would like to ask you this question. Why this heartburn many of your ex-colleagues from the PDP as well as the NC have, when you have these very envoys who on their own essentially wanted to get a first-hand, perhaps an understanding of what's happening in the valley? Why is it that your former colleagues seem to be having some heartburn over this?
I really do not know. I'll tell you, if we do not explain what is bothering us, what is bothering our own people, then we are doing no good service to our own people. We know the envoys cannot on their own settle anything for us, but they wanted to have first-hand information on the situation. So we helped them in giving our perception. It is not necessary that the perception they had of the situation was correct or it was wrong, but we gave them what was our perception of the situation on the ground. So if my colleagues in some other parties felt that this was not right, they should have come forward. It's an open world. We live in a global world. Media otherwise shows what is the ground situation. Can we hide the ground situation? None of us can hide the ground situation.
Mr. Bukhari, you're talking about the ground situation. Republic TV has also accessed that memorandum that you submitted before the Lieutenant Governor on 7th of January, where you were essentially talking about the current situation. You seem to have also praised the local administration with regards to the security status right now, because there was no lives that were lost, and this is something that one needs to take into account. Is this something that you've also told the envoys, that look here, when it comes to the security situation, the government has been extremely successful in controlling the situation?
Look, I would like to be very clear. The credit goes to the people of Jammu and Kashmir who opted not to come on the streets, but the credit should go to the security agencies also who did not go in for any killings. Because if the people had come on the streets, there would have been killings. There was a security situation, a security bandobast, which made people believe that they should not come on the roads, and the people also did not. So both sides have to be given their due share. Security agencies as well as the common people. The common people did not come to the streets. So this is a good thing. We have not lost any lives. That is very good. All of us should be happy on that. And if the government deserves credit on this, I have no hesitation in giving it to them.
Mr. Bukhari, also the fact is that this is something that we have learned from our sources also. When that particular meeting took place between the envoys, there were a lot of people from different walks of life, and they were also spoken about the role essentially that Pakistan has been playing. Let's not forget that Pakistan has been quite deliberate, what they've been desperate in trying to perhaps spoil the law and order situation. Was that a topic of discussion also? That how Pakistan has been trying to interfere, and perhaps Kashmiris do not want that sort of interference from Pakistan?
Niranjan, we were on a luncheon meeting. I do not know about other groups. What did they discuss with them? What was their discussion? Because we were in a separate room. We had a luncheon meeting with them. That meeting took separately somewhere else. So I'm not privy to what transpired there.
Well, Mr. Bukhari, I also want to ask you this question. Now that you have been able to assess the situation, let's also talk about the memorandum that you submitted before the Lieutenant Governor. Isn't it not a fact that somewhere down the line, Pakistan has been playing a very important role? They've been basically, they've been exposed. The fact of the matter is that the reason why there have been reasonable restrictions that have been imposed by the local administration is because of how Pakistan has been trying to spoil the law and order situation.
Look, my memorandum, the memorandum which we gave, it has 15 points. And it starts with restoration of statehood, domicile rights over land, domicile rights over jobs. Then it says about release of detainees, all the political prisoners who are here, and the youth, and those political prisoners who are outside the state. Then it says about the law, restoration of autonomy for the Jammu and Kashmir Bank. Then shopkeepers have lost their business, hoteliers have lost their business, revival of tourism, revival of horticulture, agriculture. Then it is about unemployment, it is about restoration of internet. And these were the main points which we have raised before the Lieutenant Governor. We do know all these things which we have raised before the Lieutenant Governor are not within his competence, but there is a set procedure. We went to the Lieutenant Governor. He has certain things which he can do. There are certain things which he has to go back to the central government. They have to go to the Parliament. The Honorable Prime Minister is assured from the floor of the House, Home Minister is assured from the floor of the House that we will look into all these issues of statehood. They have promised statehood back to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. They have promised right of domicile on land and on jobs. So we have started a process. The process has started from the Lieutenant Governor. It may end up anywhere. If the process takes us to the Honorable Home Minister, will go there. If it takes us to the Honorable Prime Minister, will go there. Because ultimately we want peace and progress of Jammu and Kashmir. We want people to live in harmony, to live in peace. We want development of Jammu and Kashmir. We want tourists to come. We want to develop, grow as the rest of the country grows.
Mr. Bukhari, I also want to ask you with regards to this meeting that took place with the envoys. After that meeting, several of these PDP members, they were suspended. Your former party, they seem to be in a denial that people today, Kashmiris today, have rejected the politics of PDP and NC. They are looking for a fresh lease of life. Perhaps people like you and several others who met the Lieutenant Governor indicated that it is high time that we look for a fresh way of approaching Kashmir, and we don't need a Mehbooba Mufti, we don't need an Omar Abdullah. New leaders will basically emerge. Naya Kashmir will essentially emerge.
Niranjan ji, let me make it very clear. One, I or my group or people in our individual capacity, we are no one to say whether people will reject Mehbooba Mufti or somebody else. We came forward only to speak truth. And the truth is, we will go to any extent to speak truth. If it means going to the LG, we went to the LG. If it means to going to the Home Minister, we'll go there. That is what we want to do. Why PDP expelled certain people who presented a memorandum before the Lieutenant Governor, or why they meet the Envoys, I fail to understand. On one hand, PDP says it cannot do anything because its leaders are behind bars, the president is behind bars, vice president is behind bars, their disciplinary committee is behind bars. Who is this ghost who is controlling PDP? Who is this ghost who has expelled these people? I do not have a locus standi on that. I don't want to question it, but probably this ghost needs to be exposed. Because this is not how a democratic party should be run.
Mr. Bukhari, just one last question before I let you go. With regards to the future Naya Kashmir, many hailed this entire... Go ahead. I'll ask you the question after that. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Bukhari.
Look, I'll tell you tomorrow when the time comes, when we are able to get the difficulties of our people eased up, then would be the time to go to the people to ask for power. Today it is only you have to see that difficulties are eased out. Businesses are restored back, tourists are restored back, development work starts. Tomorrow when the time comes for people to rule, all of them would be there. Let me tell you very honestly, all of these parties, including the old ones and the new ones would be there. People are supreme in a democracy. Whomsoever they may elect tomorrow Mehbooba Mufti. I will tell you, I will be the first one to congratulate her. Why not? In a democracy, people are supreme. But then only truth has to be spoken. There should be not an iota of misleading the people. We do not want any more lives to be lost. Our main concern is no lives should be lost, truth should be spoken. Whosoever people choose is fine with us. We have no problems with that.
Mr. Bukhari, one final question to you. With regards to the roadmap of Naya Kashmir, it's quite evident, like people like you and several others who met the Lieutenant Governor essentially signaled as the first sign of political development in the Union territory. What's the roadmap like? What is it that you would essentially want at this point in time?
Look, I would tell you, our roadmap essentially is, we have given a memorandum. We would like to follow this memorandum till everything is achieved in this. Because we know that will ease the pain of our people. Once the pain of our people is eased, that is what will give solace to the entire country. Not only my people here in Jammu and Kashmir, it will give solace to the entire country. So my appeal to all my other colleagues in other parties is, it is not one man's job. It is not the job of few people who we are together as individuals, or 20 people who, it is the job of all of us to get together and see that we ease the problems of our people. We see that Kashmir is back on development, tourists are back in Kashmir, industry is running, unemployment is removed, and our students go to schools, colleges, universities. We progress, because that is what the future for this state is.
Mr. Bukhari, I was on the ground after the Article 35A as well as abrogation of Article 370 was done, and many people on the road that I spoke to did say that, look here, things did not go out of hand because there were certain leaders like the Abdullahs as well as the Muftis. They were not there, and that is the reason why perhaps things did not go out of hand. Isn't that a reality, Mr. Altaf Bukhari? You spent a lot of time with Mehbooba Mufti and her father too, but would you not admit that it is time? Let's get away from that politics. Kashmir does not require that politics. Kashmir needs a new type of politics altogether. That is something that the Mehbooba Muftis and Omar Abdullahs will not let that happen. You need fresh set of leaders who will actually give Kashmiris a new idea of development, a new idea of life.
Niranjan, unfortunately, I was not on the ground because I was also under house arrest for the first 45 days after the 5th of August. I cannot comment on that, whether if they were free, what would they have done. But I can be sure in telling you, people were more intelligent on the ground. They understood it that losing life is not an option. They understood it that it was better that we save our children. And I would give all compliments to the people who behaved well, because who maintained peace. Of course, the security bandobast was also good.
Well, thank you very much, Altaf Bukhari, former finance minister, and many would say, once again, the rising face of Kashmir politics. Thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV.